Today, we're taking a closer look at something making big waves globally. The dynamic and often, contentious trade relationship between the United States and India.
Right. And it's much more than just numbers and tariffs, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a fascinating blend of high-stakes politics, corporate ambition, and, strategic global maneuvering.
A real mix.
To navigate this intricate landscape, we've pulled from a diverse stack of sources, everything from in-depth analyses of political action committees to recent news on evolving trade policies and even insights from expert lectures.
A good range of material to dig into.
Our goal today is to, cut through the noise, to highlight the surprising facts and crucial connections you might miss, give you a shortcut maybe to understanding what's truly shaping this vital global relationship.
And what's truly compelling here is observing how seemingly disconnected threads, from corporate boardrooms to political campaign trails, ultimately converge to dictate international trade dynamics. We're not just outlining the events, but really digging into why these decisions are made and their far-reaching implications for both nations and, frankly, the global economy. Let's dig into this.
Okay, let's start. Our journey begins with a deep dive into the world of political action committees, specifically the America PAC.
Ah, yes, the America PAC.
This super PAC was founded back in July 2024 by Elon Musk, explicitly to support Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign and, later other conservative candidates too.
And the funding source is quite remarkable.
It really is. A striking detail from our sources is that Musk himself was the primary funder, contributing, get this, an astounding 91% of the declared contributions by December 2024.
91%, wow.
He was the sole donor in the initial stages, pouring over $118 million into the PAC by October 2024. Just him.
This brings to mind the concept of chronic capitalism.
Explain that a bit.
Well, one source defines this as a scenario where a prominent industrialist or businessman forms an extremely close alliance with a ruling political party. Okay. And this leads to policies that disproportionately benefit that specific individual or their businesses. It really raises a fundamental question, doesn't it?
Which is,
what does such concentrated financial influence mean for fair competition and the integrity of democratic processes?
Yeah.
Especially when it starts touching international policy.
That's a powerful question, and one that resonates deeply when we consider how specific corporate interests, perhaps, like those of Tesla, might be influencing high-level trade talks.
Precisely.
And beyond just donations, the America PACs took on a significant role. The Trump campaign actually outsourced a large portion of its on-the-ground campaigning in key swing states to this PAC.
So boots on the ground funded almost entirely by one person.
Pretty much. They also heavily invested in social media, spending millions on Facebook and Instagram ads and smaller amounts on X.
Right, the digital battlefield.
And some of these social media efforts were highly provocative. Ads reportedly depicted an attempted assassination of Donald Trump or used, vulgar descriptions of Kamala Harris, apparently accumulating 32 million impressions by October 2024.
This really illustrates the aggressive and sometimes, controversial tactics now prevalent in modern political campaigning and how substantial financial backing can just amplify these messages way beyond normal reach. It compels us to think about where the line is drawn between political advocacy and, outright propaganda.
Good point. The PACs also engaged in door-to-door canvassing in battleground states, but not without controversy.
Oh. What kind of controversy?
Well, reports surfaced about poor working conditions for canvassers in Michigan. Things like being transported in a U-Haul without proper seating and alleged threats for not meeting, unrealistic quotas.
Oof, not good.
No, it led to a class action lawsuit. And maybe more concerning still were allegations of fraud within their canvassing operation.
Fraud? How so?
Internal data reportedly flagged a significant portion, maybe 20-25%, of door knocks in Arizona and Nevada as potentially fraudulent. There was even a leaked video tutorial on how to spoof the data.
Wow, that's serious.
Definitely. And then there were the petition and giveaway programs.
Yeah, the giveaways.
For the 2024 election, Musk tweeted about offering $47, then $100 for swing state voter referrals who signed a petition. He even offered a daily $1 million giveaway to a petition signer.
$1 million a day. That spotlights critical questions about election integrity, surely.
You'd think so. The Justice Department reportedly warned the PBAC that the $1 million giveaway might actually be illegal.
Okay.
And further lawsuits allege that the selection of winners wasn't random, as implied, but based on whether their values align with the PX. Winners were then allegedly paid to be spokespersons and had to sign non-disclosure agreements.
So not quite a random lottery then, more like paid endorsements presented as giveaways.
Seems like it. The PAYDAC even extended these efforts into the 2025 Wisconsin Supreme Court election, becoming the largest source of out-of-state money in that race.
Really digging in there.
And despite challenges, the courts didn't take action. Now, what's particularly notable here and connects back to our trade theme, Tesla, another Elon Musk company, is simultaneously suing Wisconsin to open its dealerships in the state.
Ah, there it is. A direct link between the political influence spending and the business interests.
Exactly. So this deep dive into America PAC isn't merely a political sidebar. It really lays the groundwork for understanding how concentrated wealth channeled through these PACs isn't just reshaping domestic politics.
Right. It creates leverage.
It creates a powerful leverage point that can directly influence international trade policy, particularly when the industrialist behind it has significant overseas business interests, like Tesla in India.
Okay, so that sets the stage nicely. Let's pivot to the core of the U.S.-India relationship then, the issue of tariffs.
Right, tariffs.
At the core of these trade tensions, as many of you know, are tariffs. Those import taxes designed to protect domestic industries by making foreign goods pricier.
And a vivid example our sources provide is the past situation with Harley-Davidson motorcycles from the U.S. versus India's Royal Enfield bikes.
A classic case study in this context.
Indeed. India previously imposed a steep 100% tariff on Harley-Davidsons.
100%, double the price, essentially.
Right. This meant a bike costing, say, 2.5 lakh rupees in the US would instantly jump to 5 lakh rupees in India. It effectively shielded Royal Enfield from being directly undercut.
Made it very hard for Harley to compete on price. Similarly for Tesla, which is now officially entering the Indian market.
Showroom in Mumbai, July 2025, right?
That's the one. The tariff picture is comparable. A Tesla Model Y might be around 30 lakh rupees in the US.
Okay.
But it starts at approximately 80 lakh rupees in India. That's due to a 100% tariff.
Wow. Again, more than double in some cases.
Exactly. And the Indian government's reasoning is pretty clear. Allowing a cheap entry for foreign vehicles could potentially cripple domestic car manufacturers like Tata Nexa or Mahindra Scorpio.
Creating a big economic hole.
A significant economic void, yeah. This really highlights the tightrope countries walk between encouraging free trade and, safeguarding local industries and jobs.
And this is a recurring point of friction, isn't it? Donald Trump has consistently advocated for reducing trade barriers, especially on U.S. manufactured products.
Absolutely. The high tariff on Harley-Davidson was a specific example he brought up repeatedly.
It's worth noting, though, that India's Union Budget 2025, passed in February 2025, actually lowered import duties on high-capacity motorcycles.
So a potential easing of tensions there.
Possibly. A move that could, potentially ease some of these trade strings, but beyond automotive tariffs.
Yes.
Another major point of contention and a key driver of U.S. pressure on India, according to our sources, revolves around genetically modified crops. And a familiar name, Monsanto.
Right, Monsanto, now Bayer. What's particularly striking about Monsanto's story is its evolution.
Oh, so?
It began with pesticides, then its parent company, Bayer, was also producing anti-cancer medicines. A bit ironic, perhaps.
You could say that.
Later, Monsanto pivoted to creating genetically modified crops, which were marketed as requiring less pesticide.
And the most compelling example from our sources is beet cotton in India's cotton belt.
A huge deal in India. Monsanto introduced these seeds containing a gene from a bacteria called CRW.
Right, designed to kill insects that ate the cotton.
Exactly. Farmers initially adopted them, hopeful it would reduce pesticide use and costs.
Made sense at the time, I suppose.
On the surface. However, this raises critical concerns about long-term dependency and seed sovereignty.
Seed sovereignty, meaning?
Control over your own seeds. Our sources detail how Monsanto allegedly incorporated something called a terminator gene into its patented seeds.
Terminator gene. Sounds ominous.
It kind of is. This gene prevents harvested seeds from germinating, so farmers can't save seeds from their harvest to plant next year.
So they have to buy new seeds every single season.
Precisely. Forced repurchase. The implications here are profound for agricultural independence.
And the consequences for Indian farmers, especially in Maharashtra, were apparently dire.
Very much so. Reports describe widespread crop failures, mounting debt, and a tragic surge in farmer suicides as they became entirely reliant on buying these expensive seeds annually.
That's awful.
And to add insult to injury, after 3-4 years, the insects evolved resistance. The CRW gene became ineffective.
So the technology failed.
Essentially, yes, which prompted Monsanto to introduce a new version, BT2, at a 1.7 times higher price.
So more expensive seeds again.
Exactly. Zooming out, the big concern is that such practices could lead to a loss of traditional local seed varieties and this overwhelming dependence on a single company.
Which could undermine a nation's food security.
Especially a nation like India, with 54% of its population dependent on agriculture. They view this as a massive risk, hence refusing to approve many of Monsanto's other GM crops like brinjal, corn, or pulses.
Makes sense from their perspective.
And, tying it back, our sources also indicate that Monsanto allegedly invested approximately $200 million in. Guess where?
Let me guess. The America PAC.
Bingo. Another thread connecting corporate interests, political influence, and these international pressure points.
So, okay, we've outlined these points of friction. The Pacey influence, the tariffs, the GM crop issues. But why should the U.S. maybe be careful about pushing India too hard on these?
Well, it really comes down to India's significant economic leverage and its increasingly independent geopolitical stance. Don't underestimate India's position.
Talk about that leverage.
This highlights the deep interconnectedness of global trade. India isn't simply a market for the U.S., it's also a vital supplier to the U.S.
Okay, like what?
For instance, 50% of the U.S. pharmaceutical market relies on finished drugs from India.
Half. That's huge.
Yeah.
Massive dependency, as you said.
It is. And India also accounts for 30% of the U.S. market for pearls, gems, and diamonds, with most diamonds polished in Surat.
Right. Surat's diamond industry.
And if you have an iPhone,
yeah,
there's a good chance like 44% of iPhones sold in the U.S. are assembled in India, particularly in Tamil Nadu.
Mm-hmm.
Cheaper labor and production costs, mainly. So the U.S. consumer benefits directly from Indian manufacturing capacity.
Interesting. Despite this reliance, though, the U.S. has pushed back on India's agricultural policies.
Yes, particularly its subsidies to farmers. The WTO's agreement on agriculture has rules about subsidies that might distort trade.
Okay, the WTO rules.
And the U.S. argues that India's minimum support price, MSP, that's a government-guaranteed procurement price for crops, and its fertilizer subsidies, for example, exceed the acceptable limit.
What's the limit?
It's generally 10% of the value of production for developing nations under the WTO's Amber Box rules. These are seen as the most trade-distorting subsidies.
And the U.S. says India is over that 10%.
That's their argument. Violating this threshold is crucial because it can invite retaliatory tariffs or formal trade disputes from other member states, putting immense pressure on India's agricultural support system.
But India has a counter-argument, right?
They do. India's argument is that agriculture is a lifeline for its millions of farmers, not merely a business.
Unlike maybe the large-scale suitcase farming prevalent in some parts of the U.S.
Exactly. It reveals a fundamental disagreement in economic philosophies and national priorities. Lifeline versus business.
Okay, so economic leverage, but also geopolitics.
Absolutely. This U.S.-India dynamic isn't solely about trade dollars. It's deeply entwined with broader geopolitical power plays.
Such as?
One major point of contention is India's continued purchase of oil from Russia, despite Western sanctions imposed after the Ukraine conflict.
Right, that's been in the news a lot.
The broader context here is the U.S.'s Chiesa Act, countering America's adversaries through Trade Sanctions Act.
Catchy name.
It aims to penalize countries that deal with Russia, Iran, or North Korea without U.S. consent.
But India went ahead anyway.
They did. Despite Chiesa, India proceeded with its purchase of the S-400 missile defense system from Russia, actually rejecting the U.S.'s offer of its THAAD system.
Wow, that's a bold move.
It clearly demonstrates India's commitment to an independent foreign policy, even under U.S. pressure.
And what's particularly intriguing is that our sources point to Russia's President Vladimir Putin proposing an RCI.
Russia, China, India.
An RCI alliance, suggesting a powerful alternative bloc to the existing global order, possibly supported by Russia and China's One Belt, One Road initiative, too.
This compels us to consider, is India, maybe inadvertently, maybe intentionally, becoming a pivotal part of an alternative global power structure?
A multipolar world emerging?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
The significant growth of BRICS, from 4 countries initially to now 10, and the establishment of the new development bank as an alternative to the World Bank.
The BRICS Bank, yeah.
It all reinforces this perception of a shifting global balance. India's playing a key role in that shift.
So with all these pressures mounting, the trade friction, the geopolitical maneuvering, what's been happening on the ground recently?
Well, things escalated.
How so?
Our sources indicate that in early August 2025, the U.S. announced a 25% tariff on Indian goods.
25%. That's steep.
And set to escalate to 50% by August 7th, explicitly citing India's continued oil purchases from Russia as the reason.
So direct retaliation for the Russia dealings.
Seems that way. And interestingly, China reciprocated swiftly with its own 125% tariff on U.S. goods.
China jumping in too. Wow.
A sign of those shifting alliances, perhaps.
But India isn't just, absorbing these hits, right?
Not at all. Our sources reveal a smart, strategic response, apparently spearheaded by India's national security advisor, Ajit Doval.
Doval, what did he do?
He signed key deals with Russia in 3 critical sectors, focusing on self-reliance.
Okay, which sectors?
First, cooperation on rare earth minerals. Russia's offering training and technology for extraction within India, crucial for high-tech manufacturing.
Very strategic. What else?
Significant collaboration in railway and infrastructure development, another core area for India's growth.
And the third?
Perhaps most notably, technology transfer agreements.
Like military tech.
Exactly. One example cited is AK-47 variants. India needs about 700,000 advanced rifles. Under the deal, 600,000 will be manufactured in India, with Russian training and tech transfer.
Building domestic capacity.
Precisely. The BrahMos missile system, jointly developed by India and Russia, is another strong example of this successful collaboration and shared development model. It shows a deepening strategic partnership.
So, quite a countermove by India, deepening ties with Russia just as the U.S. applies pressure.
A very clear signal, yes.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. What really stands out to you from this whole deep dive into the U.S.-India trade tensions?
Well, it's clear that what appears on the surface as simple tariffs is actually just one layer of a really complex geopolitical chapter. It's about the pervasive reach of corporate influence, like we saw with the Panchi and potentially Monsanto. It's about national sovereignty over critical resources like seeds or strategic minerals. And it's about the intricate high-stakes dance of global power.
It really is a dance, isn't it?
It is. And it leads us to consider, in an increasingly interconnected world, where does true national self-interest really lie when faced with such multifaceted pressures?
That's the billion-dollar question.
Every country grapples with this, but India's strategic approach, trying to balance relationships and build self-reliance, offers a really compelling case study in navigating these complex waters.
So for you, our listener, here's a final thought to mull over.
Go on.
Given this intertwining of corporate interests, national security, food sovereignty, all the things we've discussed today, how might these deeper, often less visible layers of influence continue to shape global trade relations moving forward? And maybe more importantly, what does that ultimately mean for the average citizen around the world? Something to think about.